Ayo, so I was just looking through my YouTube and I stumbled upon this video, why modern Pokemon games suck. And I only got 2 minutes in, and I figured might as well react to it, right? So I'm gonna toss my headset on and it's by this guy. I don't know if you can see that full well or not. But Gireum. It's got 306 subs, you know. I'll restart it because you got to, right? And here we go. Shortly after the release, we got memes.
Battle Frontier.
Where is it?
We got the memes.
Where's the
Battle Frontier.
What are you saying? That wasn't it. What I gave you. We're gonna count to 10.
Yeah, man. Battle Frontier.
Battle Frontier.
We should not.
Alright. But, in all honesty,
recently, Pokemon Sword and Shield came out
recently,
for DLC.
Pokemon Sword and
It
Shield
contained new content for the
has
game,
come out with
new
DLC.
areas to explore, all returning Pokemon, new Pokemon forms, and more.
Old Pokemon, new
Game
Pokemon.
Freak marketed the DLC content as a third
Yeah.
game, like Pokemon Crystal, Emerald, Platinum, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Yeah.
After playing it, I can definitely say the experience was so boring.
Just as boring as
Oh,
playing
these
through
games
Ultra
suck.
Sun and Ultra Moon
The
a second
Pokemon
time.
games that come out in recent
Right?
years are so
Like-
mediocre compared to the older Pokemon games.
Like, it was kind of
While I
fun,
admit these
but
games aren't bad games, and I would say that
but some people don't play DLC the same as other people. When a new DLC comes out, some people actually start a new playthrough and play through that DLC. I mean, play through the game with the DLC, so that they can have the new Pokemon and they can go to the Isle of Armor, a gym or two in, and get new Pokemon. So it's a different kind of playthrough, changes it up. But you know, let's see what he says about how.
there are some good elements to the Mew games as well, like the soundtrack.
People
some
like the
good
music
story
all the
moments,
time.
and the hot
They always like the
character
music.
designs.
Damn, boy. Damn, boy, he's thick. Boy,
People have
that's
always
a
liked the.
thick-
I've also never
designs
called
of
anyone
Pokemon.
dumb or have
Like,
bad
what?
taste if they genuinely enjoy these games. I would still recommend buying these Mew games if you own their individual systems too, but they're still nothing compared to the older Pokemon games.
You comparing to
Now,
Gen
I
3?
must define what older Pokemon games
Yeah,
are,
let's hear what
since
older
old
Pokemon
and Mew
games
is
are.
relative based on time.
I got
I will
Emerald
call
in this
anything
right
post
here. I
Gen
don't know if you
5
see that.
Mew.
Green.
So Gen 6 to 8 are Mew games. Yeah, Pokemon's
I
quality
got
dropped when it
Sapphire
became
in
3D.
there because I just
I'll
like
be
Gen
explaining
3.
to you viewers in this video why these games don't work.
So let's
why
hear
they
it.
don't capture the magic and wonder of the original games. Hell, Gen 3 and 4 games are my childhood, and playing these games even today is a good experience. I can't say the same for the Mew games. They're so mediocre, and in many parts, the games feel like the developers were either lazy
Gen 1, 2,
or
and
ran
3
out of
were my
time for
childhood.
development, which is funny
Pokemon
considering
Yellow helped me learn
well
how to
Pokemon
read.
games sell.
Shit.
I'm gonna have to look up the thesaurus for the words mediocre and lazy for this video because
The
I'm gonna use it a lot.
Okay.
Also,
yeah,
I
alright.
won't mention
That's-
some topics in the video that might be surprising to some people.
Might
I
be
am not going to
surprising.
talk about the national dex crisis of Sword and Shield because one, there are more better quality videos about that topic on YouTube, and two,
We're missing a few. And clearly it was for competitive. They could have just banned those Pokemon outright in competitive. Like, just for the sake of the national dex argument. They could have put the Pokemon in and then just kept them out of competitive because that's clearly what they wanted. But there's still a chance that a free update comes out when the next Pokemon game comes out that just allows you to transfer anything into Sword and Shield. Like, it might not be a paid DLC. It might be a little paid add-on, get all the rest of the Pokemon. But if it's a competitive thing, like it seems like it is, when the next game comes out, they're not gonna care because the next game's gonna be a competitive one, right? So why wouldn't they put a free update out that allows home to transfer to Sword and Shield? Maybe it's too easy to shiny farm and they don't want some shinies, but I doubt it.
I think there are more depressing matters to Pokemon. I won't also talk about the story or the plot of these games, because stories don't matter much in Pokemon, nor the graphics or the animations, to a certain point. That being said, I'm gonna give you 4 big reasons
Graphics and animation to a certain point, but did he mean plot doesn't matter at all, and then animations and graphics kind of matter? Or did he lump all 3 of those together?
these games don't work.
I guess I'll hear.
4 reasons why
4
modern
reasons
Pokemon
why
games
modern
suck.
Pokemon games
Strap
suck.
on, viewers. Let's begin.
Let's do it. Yeah. I'm strapped in. I'm here. It's like 5 minutes or something already. 6 minutes.
Part 1. Exploration and map design. What is the appeal of buying a Pokemon game? Seriously. Is it for the online
Playing
battles?
through the
I
story.
mean, you're better off playing web games like Pokemon Showdown in my opinion, because on console games, you have to deal with inconveniences like the laggy Nintendo Switch Online system. Seriously.
Love them.
Is it for the story?
But let's be honest, legit battles are always better than fake battles? Is that... Do I just feel that way? Like, going online and using some other random Pokemon thing to do Pokemon battles is not nearly as fun as actual Pokemon battles?
Story? Well, the dialogue and the plot of these games is not very good. I'll say the main appeal of all Pokemon games is the adventure and exploration of the big
The dialogue's
region and
never the
collection
best.
of Pokemon. The Mew games are actually pretty good when it comes to the collection side, with Pokemon Sword and Shield featuring over 400 Pokemon to collect, not even including DLCs, which is a lot considering
Yeah.
the previous Pokemon games featured from 150 to 300 Pokemon. On the other hand, the map designs in these games are a big problem, which leads to problem with exploration, and the fact that these games don't feel like semi-open worlds but are more linear, go from point A to B kind of games. Here's what I mean. Let's take a look at the map of Hoenn for example.
Like, so I understand after you get to... I'm forgetting what his name is now.
I have labeled
Shit.
every city that has a gym in it with numbers.
But after you get to a certain point, you can
seems
just...
to be almost random and is not in a linear straight line. I'll now color the areas that constantly open up with every time you beat a gym leader or make some kind of progression
Let's
in
hear it.
Pokemon Emerald. Get Starter, get the Pokedex, beat Roxanne, beat Brawly, beat Watson, beat Flannery, beat Norman and get Surf, beat Winona and get the Devon Scope, beat the
Yeah.
evil team hideouts, beat the rest of the gyms. As you can see, the world opens up gradually with big open areas to explore. Sometimes the
Yeah.
game makes you revisit old areas as well, but with new items that make it possible to unlock previously unavailable areas, like the Acrobike or an HM booth.
So, the bike.
This kind of a progression hides the fact that Pokemon is a pretty linear game, and gives you a sense of adventure and fun. Here's a map of Sinnoh from the Gen 4 games as
Let's
well.
hear it.
This time I'll
Let's see
only
it.
color in places that is mandatory to visit to beat the game. Notice how the game almost forces you to explore many areas, and some areas are straight up optional as well. For example, the path to Pal Park can be completely ignored, and the game could still be beaten. Also, important locations
Yeah,
like
isn't
gyms
Pal
and
Park the
Guardian
online
Lakes are
thing?
spread out
So if
evenly
you don't
across
have
the region,
online, they're not
which
going to
gives the
force you
players
to
many
try and
options
do
freedom to
online.
explore.
Like,
Now let's look at the Mew game.
with Pal Park, that's... I'm not confusing that, right? Like, that was the online thing.
Games. I actually have no problem with X and Y's map
All
design.
right, that's
Kalos
just,
is a
you
perfectly
know?
fine region. Let's look at the
I
map
got
of
lost
Galar
in
from Sword
Kalos,
and
that's
Shield,
how
because it'll be
decent
easier
of a
to illustrate
region
my
it
point
is.
than
Let's
the
be
lowest
honest here.
clusterfuck map design from Sun and Moon. This time I used arrows instead of coloring in areas because of the design of the Atlas map. Anyways, as you can see,
Yeah.
the design of the region is very straightforward. Every time you beat a
Because
gym,
it's
you just
literally-
move from one city to another, and between the cities there are only like 1 or 2 routes between them. Except for Motostoke and Hammerlock, the
Because
game
it's
doesn't
thin
make
and
the player
long, that's
return
how
to
the
any
land
areas,
mass
and
is
the entire map
designed.
of Galar is really just a straight line from south to north. There aren't any optional areas that you can ignore to complete the game as well. When the game is finished, you have zero reason to re-explore the map except maybe the wild areas. It's so mundane, feels way too linear, and worst of all, the game handholds you too much as well. Like every time you enter a city or a new area, you're greeted by an awkwardly animated cutscene that just gives you information on what to do next.
That is a
it's
bit
just
annoying.
rinse and repeat until you get to the Pokemon League at the end.
Look, just take a look at that player name. That's
Turffield Stadium.
down there. Oh, but Sonia was looking for you player name. She's up
Yeah.
on that.
What's her face hill?
You know the one.
The chairman will be heading
Yeah.
This town seafood restaurant.
to win the
Jim Bad.
and join him there at once. Do not keep him
Yep.
waiting.
Leave me alone! Let me play the game!
Now on you go, child. You're headed
Do you
to
not
the
realize
inside gym.
that, like,
next no.
the gym leaders at the end of the battles would say something like that? Like, oh, I guess you're going for the next gym.
Bet you'll have no trouble beating that man of fire Kabu chap right. Why don't you over to
Motostoke Stadium.
and get that gym badge already?
Like, they're trying to give their characters more personality,
Now,
so
there
the
were some
text is
past
longer,
entries where
and
the
you're upset
overall
about that.
progression of the game was very linear, such as the Gen 5 games.
Understood.
The map of the Unuba
Not
region
everyone
is very
watches the anime.
straightforward. However, the game had a lot of complex caves and dungeons to break the fixed routine, such as Charstone
Nobody
Cave and
likes
Twist Mountain.
caves.
These kind of dungeons are very complex and
Nobody
creative, and they're designed
likes
like big mazes,
caves.
so there are many places to explore. Conversely, let's look at the dungeons of Pokemon Sword and Shield. This is Galar Mine. Look at how linear this place is. It's just a straight line, no obstacles to overcome. There is no puzzle aspect to it. It takes 30 seconds to go from one end to the
And
other
he's
with
still using
repels.
repels because
so
he's that
boring
much
to
of a
get
bitch
through.
in fucking
Even the
caves.
cities too.
Do you see that? Let's go back a second here.
Obstacles to overcome.
This little
There is no
bitch
puzzle aspect.
can't walk around the fucking Pokemon. He can't. He's so bad at the game, he can't walk a fucking around them. He has to use repels. Repellent's effect wore off. You wish to use another.
To it. It takes 30
Yes, he used a max repel. Because he hates caves that much. In games where you can literally dodge the Pokemon with your eyeballs and your fucking thumbs, he uses repels because he hates caves that much. And he's talking about how good other caves were. Yeah.
seconds to go from one end to the other with repels. They're so boring to get through.
You can get through them
Even
without the
cities,
repels!
too. Through the
Are you-
evolution of 3D graphics, the city looks bigger, but look at how many barriers and fences
I can
there
close
are.
my eyes and get to the fucking Gen 1 caves. That's how short they are. Alright? And yeah, there's other little paths I can go, but it's real quick to go up, over, around, down, into the top corner of the thing, fucking, and out. It's
Why
not
can't I go
hard.
through here or there. All these houses and hills in the background are just decoration and
You know what? Give me a second. Grab my controller. It's turned on. Where's this? Display capture? No. Capture here. I'm on Animal Crossing. That doesn't matter. All right. I don't care. What am I doing? Signing out of this. Wrap it up for now. End this. This is no. All right. He's talking about how there are textures that are in the game that you cannot visit. Alright. Alright, you ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Actually, I don't even think I need to close it. I don't think I need to close it. It doesn't even matter. What is it? Options. Where's the information? Where's the information? How big is it? I have it downloaded. Data management, manage software, Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's 12.4 gigabytes with the DLC now. Alright. And I forget how much the system comes with, but Breath of the Wild was basically the only thing I downloaded. So they don't want to literally fill a Switch up with 20 gigs of space with one game and have that be the only game download on the Switch until someone goes in and buys a micro SD card. So why is it kind of linear? Because the game looks nicer than the other ones, and it's 12 gigs. I don't know if you can see that. 12 gigs with the DLC. Alright? Alright? And this guy's like,
don't do it. It looks bigger, but look at how many barriers and fences there are. Why can't I go through here or there? All these houses and hills in the background are just decoration and don't do anything.
Because if you could physically go there and there were actual hitboxes on those things, there'd be more data in the game and it would be bigger. People are like, why is Call of Duty almost 200 gigs? Well, yeah, why would Pokemon be almost 50? Like, what? You gotta understand, Game Freak's not the best kind of game developer. If they had like 3 Professor Oaks in the first game, they had to like pull them from different places because
Every time
they
they
couldn't
out of place
do it.
wall, it takes me
Because
out
they
of the
didn't
game
do it,
and I
because they
find
forgot,
highly
whatever it
annoying.
was.
Something is seriously wrong when immersion of a game is constantly broken every 10 minutes. What's kind of disappointing
Have
is
you
that
ever
the
played
main
a
director
3D
of the
fucking game
Pokemon
before, or a
games these
Pokemon
days,
game where there's just a
Shigeru
forest
Omori,
and you can't?
was actually the head map designer of the old games. So the guy who designed excellent places like Route 119 of the
Actually,
Fulham region is the main director
I'm
for
in
the
a cave on
blindlist
here.
and linear maps.
What
I was just
happened?
gonna open up.
Balls drop off?
And that is one way to take the magic out of the Pokemon. Way too linear and hold your hands too much. And that is one way to take the
It does
magic
hold your
out
hand
of
a bit
Pokemon
much.
games.
Yeah, but
there
all
is another
Pokemon
problem
games
with the
kind of
world
do
map
too.
design, and that is
You can always go back to the last
two
person and
cold,
talk to them, and they will always
empty,
tell you what
world.
cold
Before
empty
the
world.
release of
Ooh.
Sword and Shield, there were
I
many
mean-
videos on YouTube complaining about the graphics and the poor quality of the animation.
I mean, Let's Go Pikachu and
Sword and
Eevee
Shield has so
felt
much
pretty
controversy
nice,
even before it
but
was
that's because
released.
you could see,
And the
see the
game
shinies
launched
in the
the YouTube
overworld.
careers of many creators, like a certain movie I would like to talk about in detail in a future video so I can launch my career as well. Anyways, in my opinion, graphics don't matter much in a game, as long as it's serviceable.
Yeah, no, as long as it
Gameplay
looks
is
good.
what
That's why
matters.
Fortnite's good.
But I
That's
do still
why
have
Counter-Strike
problems.
is good.
This might be a hot take, but I actually think Pokemon should have never gone 3D. They should have just kept all the battles in 2D and maybe have the overworld in 3D, such as games like Octopath Traveler. I think that game's art style would be perfect for a Pokemon game. But alas, the Pokemon games
I'm
chose
not
to
sure
go
about
full
that.
3D, and the world started to feel so cold, so empty. What do I mean by that? Well, do you know the term the uncanny valley effect? It means that when an
Yes.
object tries to look completely human, the nearer it gets, the creepier and unnatural it becomes. Well, there is a similar effect going in Pokemon, that the world feels to start more fake as it tries to become more realistic in 3D. Let me elaborate. Here is a map of Pewter City from Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf
Realistic
Green.
in 3D?
We know that in
no.
real life, a city will not have
Just
just 5
nice
buildings
in
and will have
3D.
roads and cars. We also know that a house in real life is not as small as 18 reds. However, we ignore this because we know that what we're looking through the screen is an abstract version of the Pokemon world that is supposed to represent the world that could be real. We let our imagination fill in that gap between the screen and our brain, and through our imagination the world feels more alive. Conversely, in the mirror games, Game Freak decided to make a fully 3D rendered world, and questions
Yeah.
began to arise. Why do all the houses look the same? Why do all houses have the same exact furniture?
Because it's a giant complex and
Why are
everyone
there
buys
cars
from the
on
same
street when there
store.
aren't any roads that cars can drive on?
That's
But in
literally a
city with
road.
No cars. Why are there crosswalks and sidewalks? Why are there like only 5 people walking down the street that looks like the real life city of London? Do you see what I mean? If you're still not understanding, hear me out. In
Because
a
there's
2D
less
world,
people
it
in
makes sense for a
Pokemon.
person to look at only 4 directions and turn around instantly when talked to, because there are only 4 directions on the D-pad that a character can move.
Because
But
your
in a
brain
3D world with
understands.
analog sticks, it looks jarring when characters move and turn around like they're still stuck in 2D.
What?
got me as well.
Yo! No, did you see that? I was on the right. He was facing up, and he saw me. Yo!
And it's absurd to see
No,
people
he just
standing
turned
around in
around.
the middle of nowhere not doing anything. Don't these guys have to go take a dump every now and then?
You do understand that they're technically battling wild Pokemon. It's just to animate them walking into the grass and then having them not interactable when you want to go and talk to them. And like, there's supposed to be more than just you on the adventure to becoming Galar champion. There was like multiple people endorsed, like Bede and all the other people that literally don't have names other than Marnie or whatever. But like, these people are not only training their Pokemon in the wild grass here, that is why they are out there, but also to battle other people as they do come by, because the new set of trainers that have been endorsed are here, or they're coming through. Like, Leon just endorsed you and someone else, and Bede was just endorsed recently. So, like, I'm pretty sure, like, this year, set of people are going through the challenge. Like, it's not often that someone hops in halfway through the challenge.
Around in the middle of nowhere, not doing anything. Don't these guys have to go take a dump every now and then?
We're getting into DLC?
What the hell is up with that turning animation?
Turning the lightsaber.
Let's talk about Team Villain Grunts 2. In the old games, what we ever saw of villainous Team Grunts were overworld sprites and battle sprites. Every Team Rocket or Plasma Grunt looked exactly the same, but we didn't care because we know these sprites are supposed to be representation of these people, and we imagine in our brain these individuals look different from one another, sort of like how they do in the anime or mangas. But in a 3D
ever
game,
so
it's
slightly.
jarring when there's only one male and one female model for Team Flare, Skull, Yell, and they all exactly look the same. Are these guys Jango Fett clones? Did they all have plastic surgery to look the same? It makes zero sense in a 3D world! However, it is still possible to create a 3D model, but in a 3D...
So I wonder if all of the red-haired people in the world just happen to join Team Flare? Oh wait, they dye their hair? Oh shit, and they're part of an organization that makes them put their hair up that way? What? What they're all dressed in they have a dress code? Oh my god.
game, it's jarring when
What
there's
about,
only one male and one female model for Team Flare, Skull.
Team Skull? How many people do you know that have blue hair? They all dye their hair. They're all dressed similarly with the Team Skull branding. Like a bunch of people wearing a YouTuber's merchandise because they're a fan of that. So why do they all look the same? Because they're a team. Like, why does every player on a hockey team look the same when they're on the ice? Probably because they're wearing their uniform.
And they all exactly look the
They're
same.
wearing their team's uniform.
Are these guys Jango Fett clones? Did they all have
Like,
plastic surgery
yeah,
to
the
look
joke is
same?
that they're
It
all
makes zero
fat.
sense in a
All the
3D
fans
world.
are fat.
However, it is still possible to create a convincing 3D world from a 2D
Because you want to make
world,
fun
and I
of,
think the best
of
example
sports
of a
fans.
game that
I
successfully
get
does
it.
this is 2019's The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening is a remake
It's like
of a
Let's Go
2D
Pikachu and
overhead
Eevee, where
view
it's a
game.
1-for-1.
Even though the world was in glorious high-definition 3D,
I have
the
that.
gameplay
I
was
like
still
it.
in 2D. The game is not jarring unlike Pokemon because the remake went for a plastic miniature kind of.
Where was he talking about the turning animation in the old games? He was talking about the turning animation in the old games, saying that when people used to turn around, it looked funny. I think this is it.
It looks jarring when characters move and turn around like they're still stuck in 2D.
And then he's here talking about this.
And even though the world was in glorious high-definition 3D, the gameplay was still in 2D. The game
But it looks so weird with him turning like he's in 2D.
is not
Even though the
jarring unlike
game's in
Pokemon
3D.
because the remake went for a plastic miniature kind of vibe
Oh,
as an art
wait.
style. It's not weird seeing a
Oh,
toy-looking
fucking
Link that's
wait.
getting stuck in a 2D environment. If Game Freak made a remake of Link's Awakening, they would have made Link look like Twilight Princess Link, and it would look weird seeing realistic trees blocking Link's path. To sum up my point, the main problem...
It literally would have looked like Breath of the fucking Wild. like, are you fucking stupid? Breath of the Wild, you know? That other 3D game? Unless I misheard him.
It's not weird seeing a toy-looking Link getting stuck in a 2D environment. If Game Freak made a remake of Link's Awakening, they would have made Link look like Twilight Princess Link, and it would look weird seeing realistic trees blocking Link's path.
So he's comparing art styles.
Path. To sum up my point, the main problem of these games is that
No.
the characters still act like they're in 2D even though it's a 3D world. And that's why there's so much backlash and outrage over the graphics of Sword and Shield in my opinion. It requires effort and time to create a realistic 3D world. And this is what I mean when I say Pokemon should have stayed in 2D.
It not only takes time and effort, but it also takes space. Like, do you know how many copy and pasted things are in Breath of the Wild? Like, all of the trees are the same. Every single tree. There's one tree in the game, and it's just copy pasted around, basically. Like, that's all the apple trees. That's basically it. Like, there's not much. There's one Bokoblin model, and it's just colored differently. Like, it's there's a reason it's only 15.7 gigs, and Pokemon is 12.4. If Pokemon had really high textures for everything, it'd be even more.
2D.
And most people
Because
wouldn't
the
be able to
Pokemon company
download
isn't
it.
willing
People
to
would not
invest
be
that
able
much
to buy
time
it
and effort
on
into
their
these
Switch.
games.
They wouldn't be able to buy the
Which
Switch, bring the
leads
Switch
into
home,
my
and then
next
buy it.
point. Part 3. Lack of content and post-game.
Because the games are getting
In
too
my
big for the
humble opinion,
console
the
already.
biggest problem of
And
the
it's
newer Pokemon
almost a
games
launch,
is lack
like,
of
it's the
content
first
due to
new
laziness or rushed
Pokemon.
development. One of the biggest content lacking in the newer games is post-game content.
Like the
You see,
Dynamax
back in my
Adventures,
days,
like the
Pokemon games
tower.
weren't finished when you beat the Pokemon League. The true adventure was just starting after you became the champion.
Like,
now, let's just take a look at
battling
all games
online
from
against
Gen
other
2 to
people.
5 and see what post-game content they had. I won't be counting Pokemon Gold, Silver, Ruby, Sapphire, Diamond, and Pearl because these games felt incomplete. Pokemon Crystal, the entire region of Kanto, 8 new gym leaders, Mount Silver and Fighting Red, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Region of Kanto, 8 new gym leaders, Mount Silver and Fighting Red.
They were supposed to be the same. I'm pretty sure this has been gone through. They were supposed to have even more in Gen 2. And Gen 2 and 1 were supposed to be the same gen. But it didn't work out.
Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, the Sevi Islands and Trainer Tower, Pokemon Emerald, catching crap ton of legendaries, Trainer Hill, and the Battle Frontier, which included 7 facilities, and battling Steven. Pokemon Platinum, new areas
The
like
Battle
Battle Zone,
Frontier
catching a
was
crap ton of legendaries
alright,
again, the Battle
but
Frontier, which
I'd
included
honestly
5
rather play through the
facilities,
game a
Pokemon
second
Hawk, Gold,
time.
Silver, the entire region of Kanto again, the Battle Frontier again, Red again, Pokemon Black and White, the entire east half of the Unova region, grinding to beat the Elite Four, battling Cynthia. Pokemon Black
Yep.
and White 2, the entire southern half of the Unova region from the previous game, new areas, catching crap ton of legendaries, Black Tower and / White Tree Hollow, the Pokemon World Tournament, which featured every single gym leader and champion from all games up to that point, even with new soundtracks. This game was every Pokemon fan's wet dream come true.
I'm gonna come!
Oh boy, I wonder what post-game the next game will have.
The thing is, it's cool that the trainers are the gym leader sprites, but at the end of the day, it's just the gym leader sprites. It's just their Pokemon. Like, they could have had the same Pokemon without the gym leader sprites, and people would have been upset? Nah, probably not.
Pokemon X and Y, a city, a battle tower clone, a boring side quest that can be beaten in an hour.
And a 3D
But
world
hey,
that
this
looks
was their
nice.
first 3D game. Maybe they just didn't have enough time to put in extra content because they were modeling over 700 Pokemons. What will the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire have? A city, a battle tower clone.
The same
a
thing
side
because
quest
they
that
were
can be
made at
beaten in
the
an
same
hour.
time.
Fine, but the
a
original
side quest
Ruby and
that can beat in
Sapphire
an
didn't
hour,
have much
same
post-game
thing.
content, and they were just following the footsteps of the OG Ruby and Sapphire. Even though they clearly could have followed the footsteps of Emerald like any same Persona have, and I still don't know why to this day why in God's earth they didn't put in the Battle Frontier in these games, even just copy the fucking Battle Tower clone from X and Y. God! But hey, maybe Sun and Moon will have plenty for
Because
post-game
they want you to
content,
buy
since
X
this
and
is their
Y
second
to have that
generation on the
Battle
same
Tower.
console. What will the glorious Mew Gen 7 have? A Mew Root, a Battle Tower clone, a side quest that can be beaten in an hour.
They're
Twice, if you count the Ultra
expanding the
games.
world
There's
of
one more.
Pokemon. Yeah.
Shame on.
Like, for Gen 1 and 2, when you go through when you go through the gym leaders again in Gen 1, in Kanto, in the Gen 2 games, it's great, but you're, like, over-leveled.
Sword and Shield have? Not even a Mew area this time. A Battle Tower clone. A side quest that can be beaten in an hour. You see what I mean? It's as if Game Freak thought,
I feel
hey,
like all
we
the
have
side quests can be
online
beaten
now.
in an
Let's
hour.
just make shitty online events and have player PvP it out online. That will make those fucking sheeps happy, right?
Stop it.
You know, back in the old days, they held events at places like Toys R Us's where they gave out codes and items. And with those items, you can do special events where you can go to a secret island and catch a secret Pokemon or
Yeah,
something.
people don't
Nowadays,
like
they just give you a
people
QR
don't
code
like
to
other
see so you
people
can download a
interacting
shiny
with them
legendary or
now.
something.
COVID's
no
a
effort,
thing.
no imagination involved. Like I said, lazy. You know though, I really do miss the PWT.
No, honestly, it was really lame having to fucking beg your parents to try and drive you to a place for 3 fucking hours so that you might be able to get a possible code if there's not too many people there. Like, let's be honest, it was annoying trying to go to a GameStop.
I mean, even if
to
the
get some of-
graphics is shit,
to get
I
some of
love
the
it if they feature a lot
stupid
of
shit
fan
they
service
had.
in the upcoming games. Why don't they just put it in the next DLC or put it in the next installment? Alright, we have to make a shitty mobile gacha game out of that concept these days. Whoops.
Yeah.
Part 4. Cutting corners.
They've always cutted corners ever since Gen 1.
Okay, maybe I'm just expecting too much. I mean, post-game content and events are in the end extra credit. If the main Pokemon story experience feels fun and complete, maybe we'll forgive them for being half-assed on the post-game. No, the game feels incomplete even in the main story. Up to Gen 5, I've never felt Game Freak was cutting corners in quotation marks. Maybe the only time I really felt that was in Black and White 1. Because for some reason the Rivals and N were the only trainers with animated sprites. Even though in the previous 2 entries all gym leaders and important characters were animated. But in the sequel they fixed it by having all trainers having animated sprites.
Nice.
I'm gonna give X and Y some leeway because it was their first 3D game, so I'll start talking about Gen 7 and onwards. I've noticed a pattern over since Sun and Moon came out.
Gen 7
the game
and
feels
8.
full of life until halfway through the game, and in the later half it feels like the developers were running out of ideas or time and rushed to development. There are parts in the game where content feels missing as well. Here's what I mean. In Sun and Moon, instead of gyms, we got island challenges, which actually was refreshing to the Pokemon formula. The challenges usually involved puzzles and mazes. Creative challenges that were
easy
unique to the
ones
respective
that
island
were
captains or
made for
Pokemon.
children.
But here's what I mean when saying the game feels rushed later in the game. Like the last island trial is literally walking down a path. That's it. That's not a trial, more like a dementia test. Also, look what happens when the last island captain Mina shows up. This is what she literally says. I guess I'd introduce myself though. I'm Mina. I'm the captain. I mean, I sort of am. I actually just wander around doing my art. So I don't have an actual trial or anything. I'm the captain and all, so I've gotta come up with a trial. Maybe it could involve painting pictures and picking flowers. Maybe
does he not know this trope?
Cool.
Does he not? Has he
then.
not seen movies or watched
She could have literally
shows
said
or
the game
read?
developers gotta come with a trial because they clearly didn't have enough time to come up with one. Why even have the character in the game if she's there?
Because she's the lazy, relaxed, laid back, don't give a fuck character that literally doesn't care but is strong enough to be the champion or the island trial whatever they call them. I forget at this point. But it's like she's good enough to be the last one while not caring at all. And she doesn't have an island challenge because anyone that comes to her, she literally just makes one up on the spot. Because if you can do X thing that she wants you to, then you're worthy. Like that's a trope in anime all the time. And maybe he doesn't understand that the creators of Pokemon are Japanese. Maybe, you know, he's got the memes with their faces in his video, but maybe he doesn't know.
They're not doing anything. At least they fixed it in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon where she gives you a proper trial. But even that
where she's grown up a little bit and cares a little bit more, but not so much more.
What is this, the hunt for the Wayfinder?
Yeah.
Also, here's a photo of Akala Island. Do you see this green strip? It's a golf course and you can even see it on the map screen.
Yeah.
Also, there's a member of the Alolan Elite Four that uses flying type, and she has a golf thing going for her. You know, when I first saw the map and saw the Elite Four, I
A
thought
golf
we were gonna have a golf
dingoy?
mini
You
game
mean a
after
golf
we
club?
beat the game. Or maybe even have a bonus island
golf-
trial that involves putting or something. How fun that would be. Mario Golf Bun involving Pikachu.
Joel, please get up.
But there is no such thing. A golf fairy
Why
does
would
not
you
exist
think
in the
that?
game. And a
Like,
league
what-
for Healy
what-
only appears in the Pokemon League.
Yeah,
I guess Game
because they're
Freak
trying
ran
to
out of time
expand
to
the
put back in
world
game.
and show you
And
the
unlike
world.
Captain Mina, they still didn't fix in the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Healy's just kind of there.
Here's a good idea. Have a point.
Let's look at the gyms of Sword and
Have a point. Did you not pay attention like halfway through the story where she's like this really rich girl that like basically just lives on the golf resort and takes private planes wherever the hell she wants? Is it did I get that confused? Did I get that mixed up with someone else? Isn't that her story? Because like that's why. Because like her family owns the golf resort. Am I wrong? Is he just stupid because he doesn't care about the stories? And because he doesn't care about the story, the rest of this shit doesn't make sense to him? Like, this video is like 35 minutes long already. I don't
in
care.
this game, Pokemon gyms
We got
make
like
a
4 more.
return, and you have to go through a maze or a puzzle before fighting
This
the
one
gym
was the
leader.
lamest one.
However, just like the
But
island
also, they
challenges
wanted to
of
make it
Sun
the
and
same for
Moon,
both games,
the
so they just had
later
to
gym
swap some
challenges feel
colors.
lazy as well. Let's just do a rundown from Gym 5 to 8 and see what I mean. Gym 5, Balloonly. You take an audition and a quiz.
Yes. And the grandma gives you a quiz. Almost like Blaine, the grandpa from Gen 1, that would give you a quiz. Oh my god! Now, instead of getting the question right and being able to not battle, if you get the question right, you get help in the battle. You get your stats boosted. Which means they're forcing you to do the battle either way. Instead of you being able to go online, look it up, and skip the battle.
I admit it's a funny moment in the game, but it probably took like 10 minutes to script the quiz rather than coming up with a maze or a puzzle like the earlier gyms. Gym 6 is actually pretty good, but Gym 7 Spike Muff is not. The challenge is literally to walk down a straight narrow hallway while battling Team Yell Grunts. That's it.
Yeah.
No, the Rogue One sound effect doesn't make it exciting. Next gym, Gym 8.
That's the thing about Spike Myth. It's supposed to be, like, not big and flashy, so you're supposed to just walk in and battle Pierce. That's, like, kinda his thing. Not being too flashy, not Dynamaxing. And yeah, if you follow the Sword and Shield story, there's a reason why the Team Yell Grunts are there to stop you from battling Pierce, because then Marnie can battle Pierce and win, and then you won't, and then she'll become the champion. It's almost like you don't understand the story of the game, because at the beginning, again, you said you didn't care about the story.
In Hammerlock is somehow more lazy. You just go into a room and fight trainers while doing nothing. I'm not even kidding. You're just standing there and battling.
Yeah,
This is literally
because
lazier than
he's
Pewter City Gym from
teaching
Generation 1.
these people
You know,
how
the gym where this happens
like,
has probably the coolest exterior design for a Pokemon
like
gym
he's
in
their
Pokemon
teacher,
history.
and he's basically
But the
grading them.
challenge is you just sit on your ass and fight a trainer. This is probably the best single image to summarize up the entire Pokemon franchise in a nutshell these days. Might look big, but very hollow and empty, filled with laziness inside.
It's all the Pokemons. This one's just as good as the rest of them, and just as bad as the rest of them.
That's been a lot of minutes complaining. There are things I didn't mention in the video, like how Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is somehow worse than Sun and Moon, why Sword and Shield's wild areas suck, but these kind of problems are for individual games. I wanted to talk about the general problems all the modern Pokemon games share with each another. Maybe I'll talk about them in a future video with individual reviews. Anyways, to conclude, I would like to emphasize I didn't make this video just to hate on these games. Despite everything I said in this video, I did still enjoy playing all these recent Pokemon games. However, I just wanted to express my disappointment because in the past, Pokemon games felt like passion projects by Game Freak. Game Freak didn't have to put in the Kanto region in Gold and Silver. Game Freak didn't
They didn't have to, but it was their goal in Red, Blue, and Yellow to put both regions in, and they failed doing so. And one person, apparently it was just one person, really fucking wanted it, So he made a way to compile the game so it took up less space so they could put it in. And that's why the Kanto version of the Johto games is really shit. Like, that's why it's really low end with not much. Because they were able to just barely throw it in. That's why, like, some of the places are shrunk down and smaller than what they normally were. Because, you know, they couldn't do it.
Have to make third better games that fix the problems and perfect it. They didn't have to put in all this post-game content in black and white too. But they did. Nowadays, it just feels like the Pokemon company
Wait, what?
better games that fixed up the Kanto region and Gold and Silver. Game Freak didn't have to make third better games that fixed up problems and perfect it.
No, but with the amount of money that Pokemon Yellow made, holy fuck did they want to make that third game so that they could make that money.
They didn't have to put in all this post-game content in black and white too, but they did.
All the post-game content in black and white too. Because what was
Nowadays,
what came after? They were doing something big with it, weren't they? There was a big plan with Pokemon.
it just feels like the Pokemon company is just interested in pumping up barely completed games so that they can create more Pokemons so they can sell more merch or rip off people with mobile games. Ideal extra content is either ignore
I like how the mobile game, Pokemon Go, that he,
sell more merch or rip off people.
like, Go Fest, maybe it's a ripoff. I don't know. Never been to a Go Fest. Never paid for a Go Fest. But people are still playing Pokemon Go to this day. To this day. Like, yeah, some people are still playing Emerald. Some people are still playing older games. But, like, it's still a good game. They're still updating it.
But with mobile games, ideal extra content is either ignored
It ain't bad.
or made into DLC. Even though they did add in stuff like Mega Evolution, Z moves, Dynamax to mix up the formula, I don't feel the passion of the past anymore from it, and it's just a big shame. Hopefully the next games in the Nintendo Switch will be good, and that's all I can say. If they do remake Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, I will buy it because I love Sinnoh so much. But one question remains. Will there be the Battle Frontier from Platinum in those remakes? Nah, probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Well, if he took YouTube footage from other people, let's let that play so that the credits can go through. But we being honest here. This guy's upset that Sword and Shield isn't a 50 gigabyte game, that it's not Pokemon Breath of the Wild, that it's just a 3D version of Pokemon. Is that really why this guy's mad? Exploration and map design. It's fairly similar to other maps, it's just this one is long. They're trying to make, like, they made multiple islands, they made a long, like, they've made multiple different, instead of just doing the big square where you're just going around, which they did multiple times, they wanted to do a different shaped map. Cold and empty 3D world, that happens in most 3D games. But in fact, Pokemon feels more alive because there's always Pokemon around. Like, go play Anthem, go play some other 3D worlds, and they're dead. Go play some Destiny. They're dead. It's dead. Their worlds are empty. You find little clumps of things here and there, but it's just dead. Even Genshin Impact, you can run through a lot of that with nothing. Just finding nothing. Lack of content compared to the older games. I mean, he really seems to be hung up on that battle tower, the battle frontier. And as cool as the battle tower and battle frontier were, like, it's basically been moved to online. That's what online is. You want to battle up and rank up in the battle frontier, go play competitive online and rank up. And cutting corners, Pokemon has always cut corners. Even when they wanted Gen 1 and 2, both on the same cartridge back in the day, they had to shrink Gen 1 to make it fit on the Gold and Silver Crystal cartridges. I mean, maybe I went off on this guy. I feel like I agreed with a few things that he said throughout the video, but it's honestly like, it's like the same argument when people are like, modern Call of Duty suck. They're the same fucking thing. You've changed a bit, and that's it. Like, Pokemon's always been for the kids, so when you say it's too easy or there's not enough content, it's because you understand it all and you can just do it. Like the Reggies, in the DLC, when it said you need like a thing of ice, a face of ice or something, I knew exactly what it was. Like, I didn't know the Steel one. I honestly thought I had to like make a Steel Pokemon scream itself, but no. I don't see it at all, boy. I don't see it at all. I guess that's all I have to say. This has been Lil The Myth, and I've reacted to can't pronounce his name because I'm too lazy. And I'll see you next time. Peace.